Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream. It is 7:35 p.m., the 8th of December. Of course, a public holiday here in Spain today, although you wouldn't have known it because it is, of course, Sunday, and those people that had to work today normally probably had a day off, but where I am here in the center of the country in Madrid, lots of shops open today, so people not being able to celebrate that day off, and lots of people heading away for the long weekend, the Friday also a holiday. Now, we'll get straight into the news. We'll have a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times too. We'll also take a look at what's happening in the chat section here on the live stream. So if you are watching today, say good day in the chat section. Now straight into the news, and the pressure is building on Valencian Premier Carlos Mazon to step down. And as we can see here, sorry, the wrong piece of news. As we can see here, if I can find it, 1 minute. If I can find it here, what? Mazon should resign for his management of the Dana, according to 65% of Valencians and 47% of his voters. The social outrage over the political management of the Dana did not take long to affect Carlos Mazon, who, for the first time, has seen the level of popular protest with 2 mass demonstrations calling for his resignation. The Valencian president found himself in the eye of the storm when he was forced to reveal what he had hidden for days, that the meal with a journalist on the day of the Dana delayed his arrival at the emergency coordination meeting. But it is not only the left that is clamoring for his departure. Almost half of his voters are calling for him to resign. This is revealed by the Sigma DOS survey for El Mundo newspaper, carried out between November the 25th and December the 4th, and which points to the reputational damage of the President of the Generalitat. Not in vain, 47.2% of those who voted for Mazon's PP party in the 2023 elections now believe that the President of the Generalitat should step aside and resign, and I'm sure lots of people share that sentiment about Mr. Mazon and his handling of the Dana, not only the post-Dana events but also leading up to the tragedy. He was having a long lunch and wasn't really in contact with his staff, who were trying to get in contact with him. There are rumors that he was ignoring calls, not replying to messages, and of course when the lunch finished around 6:30, he was straight off to that coordination center because the world was coming to an end for some people in the Valencian community on the day of the 29th of October. So we'll see if he steps down, but given Spain's history of politicians resigning, I don't think we're going to see it anytime soon. Next piece of news here, and an Arctic snap puts 5 autonomous communities here in Spain on red alert due to snow, wind and rough seas. The State Meteorological Agency, the AEMET, has activated the red alert in several areas of Aragon, Asturias, Castilla and Leon, Catalonia and Navarra due to the strong winds, rough seas and snowfalls, because today is the peak of the Arctic cold storm that entered the north of the peninsula on Saturday and will become worse throughout the day. Another 5 autonomous communities are on orange alert for wind and coastal phenomena: the Balearic Islands, Cantabria, Galicia, the Basque Country and the Valencian community. The Pyrenees of Huesca and Navarra, the Aran Valley in Lleida and the Cantabrian mountain range in Asturias, Leon and Valencia are on red alert for snowfalls, where the accumulation of snow could reach 40 centimetres in 24 hours above 1,200 metres, with the possibility of a blizzard and lesser accumulations in low areas. And lots of people were caught out by this Arctic cold snap that dropped a lot of snow in some parts of the country. And of course, people enjoying the long weekend, heading off with the family to the north of the country, and bang, getting stuck in the middle of a snowstorm with that red alert also going off on people's phones in those autonomous communities today, the alert system that warns of extreme weather conditions. So if you are driving in Spain at the moment, going through one of those parts of the country where there's either a red or an orange alert, Take care. Next piece of news here, and the US is threatening Spain with multi-million-dollar sanctions after Spain refused ships to stop over with weapons destined for Israel. The US Federal Maritime Commission, the FMC, has opened an investigation into Spain's alleged refusal to allow US cargo ships to call at its ports and has warned that it will impose significant corrective measures, with fines of up to $2.3 million per voyage if harmful effects on maritime transport are found as a result of the ban. Spain has denied entry to certain vessels on at least 3 separate occasions this year, the 2 most recent cases involving the US-flagged vessels, according to the Commission, whose investigation will begin with a 20-day period for the collection of information and during which the public will be able to submit its comments. So there we go, US threatening Spain because these ships are being turned away from Spanish ports, ships that are carrying weapons destined for Israel, as we can see here, because we all know that Spain has taken an anti-Israel stance in this conflict, a pro-Palestinian stance, and of course this is all part of that, I imagine, but the US saying that it will crack down on Spain. And the fines look to be fairly heavy, $2.3 million per voyage, but as we know, Spain doesn't always pay its debts when these things occur, because there are other countries trying to get money out of the country because of bad investments in the past. And although not related to this, I imagine it's not easy to get the money, even though you put a sanction on a country like this one. Next piece of news here, and Spain's tourism record accelerates the opening of hundreds of hotels. The new tourist record in Spain has accelerated the opening of hundreds of hotels throughout the country, especially outside the major activity centres where the offer is already very intense: Barcelona, Madrid, the Balearic Islands and the Canary Islands. After a few years in which the hotel industry has remained practically stagnant, it is gaining new momentum, and only between 2024 and next year, some 651 establishments are expected to open, according to updated data from EY. One hotel every day and a half. In this way, the number of hotel assets will grow by 4.7% in just 2 years, one of the highest rates in recent times. In the vast majority of cases, these are new projects, although they also include changes in the use of buildings from offices to hotels, for example, and repositioning to raise the category of the establishment under a new brand. Cities such as Seville, Valencia and Malaga will experience the largest percentage increase in the number of rooms, highlights Alvaro Monreal, Senior Manager of Real Estate at EY. So there we go, Spain's tourism boom continuing, record numbers of people coming to the country this year, as we know, record incomes as well, and of course that's leading to more hotel rooms as investors put their money into the sector, of course trying to get a good return on it. And we'll see what happens next year, but this year I think expected to be around 95 million people, I think, visiting the country. So we'll see if next year Spain breaks the 100 million barrier, and these hotels, as we saw there, popping up in some of the less popular tourist destinations, because there is demand there as well, not just the very popular places as we saw, Madrid, Barcelona, Balearic Islands, Canaries, but other parts of the country too, reaping the rewards of this tourist boom with hotels opening. And the final piece of news here, good news for olive oil lovers like myself, and the price will fall, or has fallen, by 50% at source, but this has not yet been transferred to the supermarket. Olive oil prices at source have suffered a historic setback in recent months and have already registered falls of more than 50% compared to the values reached at the beginning and middle of 2024. If the average prices were around €9 per kilo in February and €8 in June, at the close of this week they were around 4.5 or €4.50 for the highest quality oil, extra virgin. In the case of virgin oil and lampante intended for refining or other uses other than consumption, Prices at source are approximately 4.3 or 4 euros 30 per litre, according to data from the Observatory of the Spanish Federation of Olive Oil Manufacturers and the Oleista portal, whose references differ from each other by just a few cents. But this evolution of oil at source will not be transferred immediately, nor will it probably be in the same proportion to supermarket shelves. So some good news that the price is falling, but bad news that we might not see it in the supermarket or reflected in supermarkets here in Spain for some time. But 4.5 euros per litre for the highest quality oil, extra virgin, that is down quite a lot. So what we'll see, but some potential good news in the future for olive oil lovers, as I said, like myself and many other people out there that like to use this liquid gold with their cooking. Into the comment section I will go now. The first one here from Johnny that was left. All of our US identification numbers, social security numbers, were stolen early this year from a company called National Public Data. They have since gone out of business. 2 large healthcare groups here in San Diego have been hacked previously. One affected me, so I fully expect Spain's new data travel requirements to be hacked as well. It's just a matter of time. What a world we are living in. Absolutely, Johnny, what a world we are living in, where we have hackers constantly trying to get our data to create fraudulent activities, I imagine, and also to try to what's the word I'm looking for? To try and rip people off. Let's say rip people off with all of this data that they can get behind the scenes, because we give our data, as we know, to many people, and of course there are hackers trying to get information from these sources. And the big worry that Johnny's referring to here is the new data registry that has been set up here in Spain when it comes to hotels and other tourist accommodation, renting cars and things like that. All of the new data that you have to give, some 42 points worth of data, I think, compared to I think it's 14 or so currently. So a lot more data needs to be handed over to the government, and people skeptical that the government can house this data safely because we have seen breaches in other countries, and I think also here in Spain. The US pointed out there by Johnny, but here in Spain I think data breaches have been have occurred before with government with our data that the government has, let's say. So worrying times for this. So we'll see if the government can keep that data safe, or if we are informed of a data breach somewhere down the line. Another comment here from Kieran. Surely those protesting realised that if there were caps on tourism, then that would mean higher taxes. 200 billion euros is not to be sniffed at, and any decrease would mean the cost of living hiking up substantially to cover the shortfall. Thanks, Kieran. I imagine that a lot of people that are protesting the tourism industry here in Spain are not really thinking long term, or about the let's say secondary effects of their actions when it comes to maybe changing the way that this industry is moving, all of the jobs involved, all of that money coming into the country, all of the taxes that are raised by the government from this income being put to good use, we hope, and helping the average Spaniard lead a better life. And of course, if it dries up, what would happen? That's the idea. 200 million, absolutely not to be sniffed at. But as I said, I don't think a lot of people are looking at anything other than their day-to-day and the impact that this tourism has on their day-to-day in the cities that they live in. For example, the Barcelonas, the Valencias, some parts of the Canary Islands. So, yeah, have they thought beyond the initial protests? If tourists do decide to stop coming to Spain, what would happen? Probably not, but I could be wrong. Thanks, Kieran. Another one here from Elizabeth. Wouldn't birth control be cheaper and more convenient than having to travel to another country for work? When a parent leaves, doesn't that put an undue burden on the one who stays with the kids? Sorry, but if you can't afford the amount of kids you choose to have, was that the best decision? Thanks, Elizabeth, for that. We saw the case the other day of people complaining that the cost of having children here in Spain is too much for them. And we saw one particular case of a family in Seville where the husband has had to go to work in France in order to earn a decent salary to pay for the 4 kids that he's got in Seville. His wife staying behind. And absolutely, Elizabeth, she would have to be bearing the burden of those 4 kids while hubby's off in France working. I'm sure he gets back as often as he can, and the money comes in handy, but of course it is true. Birth control, yeah, a lot of people are probably not thinking about birth control. They're just thinking about having a family, having, 1, 2, 3, 4 kids. Bigger family, the better for some still. But of course, they don't realize the economic costs of having a big family, or at least they didn't really think it through properly, probably not. And therefore, with the salaries that people have in some parts of this country, to even have kids at all can be a decision that some people struggle to make, because it is very expensive. I think it was around 800 euros or 750 or something euros per child. So if you've got 4, do the maths. A lot of money every month that you've got to be bringing in. And it's not only the food costs, but it's also the water, the electricity, all of these things, the holidays, the extra mouths to feed. It's not expensive. And if you haven't got the income coming in, should you be having 4 kids? That's the question that I think Elizabeth is posing there. But yes, not easy. One here from Jay Marin. Stuart, if you're ever looking to escape the summer, make sure to visit Aledo. It's a charming village perched high in the mountains with a vibe that might remind you of the Minas Tirith, and the views are absolutely breathtaking. Cheers. Thanks for that. Never heard of this village, but I looked it up. Apparently it's in Murcia, the region of Murcia, or Murcia, as some people call that place. Some foreign people call the place Murcia. But it is Murcia here in Spain, and apparently it is a nice village and maybe cooler than the average town in that part of Spain, which, as we know, in summer can get very, very hot. So thanks for the suggestion here, Jay. I'll look into it and see if I'm ever back in that part of Spain, definitely look at visiting that town. Thank you. Another one here from Robert. Never knew you can order pig's ears and be so good. Always bought smoked pig's ears for dog treats. Next time in Spain on my list. Thanks. Yeah, there's lots of food on restaurant menus here in Spain that people have said that they feed their dogs. Tripe was one. Another one is pig's ears, and here it's a restaurant staple. Go into virtually every bar in the Madrid community and you will find oreja a la plancha or oreja en salsa on the menu. And even in supermarkets, you can buy it packaged, take it home, put it in the frying pan, and away you go, because a lot of people love oreja a la plancha. And as I said the other day when filming that video, whenever I go out with people and that is on the menu, it more often than not ends up on the table. So I've come to like it over the years. Would I have eaten it probably here as a tourist? Probably not. Wouldn't have even known what it was, I don't think. But it is quite a tasty dish. And once you get over the idea that it is a pig's ear, away you go. But pig's trotters and what else have I seen in recent times? Pig's tail. I've also seen that on the menu. In fact, I tried that on my trip to Albacete, I think, earlier this year. Pig's tail. So the pig is an animal that virtually every part of it ends up in some way, shape or form as food here in Spain, the pig, because they absolutely love pork in every way, shape and form, do the Spaniards. And the final comment here from Anthony. Stuart's the kind of YouTube food reviewer every restaurant dreams of. Everything is amazing and fantastic. Well, firstly, Anthony, I'll just correct you here. I'm not really doing a food review per se. I'm just highlighting some of the Spanish dishes on offer to people that maybe would never have tried them before and maybe would like to try them. But I could go into the food reviewing. I might have done a few reviews where I've given a score, but I haven't been to a bad restaurant yet, to be honest. One that hasn't met my satisfaction, let's say. The food's been good in virtually all of the restaurants. Can't complain about the service. And when you get a free glass of wine thrown in like the other day, I'm not going to criticize the restaurant. Everything was perfect. No need to criticize. But yeah, maybe I will start, Anthony, putting a harsher score on some of the meals. But hopefully I won't have to, because I don't want to be throwing away my money on poor quality meals. But then again, they might be popular videos. Who knows? Who knows? All right, now into the chat section I'm going to go. Before I get there, I'm just going to ask you to... Oh, no, I have to change the backdrop first. This one was sent in by Barbara, who was recently traveling. Valued member is Barbara. She was recently traveling in the Alicante province, or the city of Alicante, and took this snap of the harbour and some people there feeding the pigeons. Nice, I suppose it's a sunset. Nice sunset picture there of the boats in the harbour and the walkway that we have there to the right in Alicante city. And yeah, very familiar picture there, because I was in Alicante, I think back in March or late February, not sure exactly when it was, but I remember going to that exact area. Thanks, Barbara, for the picture. And if you've got a similar picture that you would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is this one here, spainspeaks@gmail.com, on the screen currently, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Or if you've got any other information that you would like to send my way, you can send it to that email address. I'm going to put the like icon on the screen too. If you haven't hit the like icon yet, please do so. Just below the video, you will find it. We're currently sitting at, let me have a look here, 100 likes. So we've got up to 100 very quickly today. So if you haven't hit the like icon yet, please do so. Just below the video, you will find it. And if you're watching this evening's live stream on a television, you will also be able to find a like button, I believe. Don't ask me where it is, but it's there somewhere. So, yeah, do me a favor and hit the like button, please. People that have supported the channel in recent times also, thank you very much for the support. Buying me a coffee, super thanks here on YouTube. Super chat also is another way that you can support the channel. Helps me get out and about, helps me do the videos that I do, the support of the viewers, of course, and the longer term support on the Patreon platform is also an option. Links in the description below. And people that have joined as channel members here on the YouTube channel in recent times, thank you very much. And I think I got a somebody's just bought me a coffee. My phone has just buzzed, so I'll just quickly check here. Harry, thank you very much, Harry, for the coffee. Regular contributor to the channel is Harry from Scotland. Thank you very much, Harry. Now let's go into the chat section. Let's check out what's happening there. Plenty of people watching today, so I imagine that the chat section is active. Andrew, the first person that I can see here, valued member. Good evening, Stuart and all. Hope you're having a good weekend from a cold, wet and very, very windy London southeast. Yeah, windy here too today. That storm passing through some parts of the country, obviously having an effect on us here in the centre. And also the temperatures have dropped. Wow, yesterday was around 17 or 18 degrees Celsius. Today we would have been lucky to get over 9 or 10. So temperatures have dropped too. Jonathan coming in today from Spain, Valencia. I think Jonathan is currently at. Good to see you in the chat, Jonathan. Sani is in the chat section too, hoping we've had a lovely weekend. It seems very, very stormy over most of the UK and here in Spain. I imagine it's the same storm, this Arctic storm. Iggy coming in from a chilly Jaén. Well, if it's cold in Jaén, it's cold everywhere, let's be honest. Stephen coming in from a wet and windy North London. Looking forward to getting back to the old tower, the Torre Vieja, this Thursday to dry off and hopefully get a bit of sun. Love the food vids, by the way, Stu. Thanks, Stephen, for that. I haven't planned my food videos for this coming week, but I'll get onto that tomorrow and see what I can come up with. There's been a few requests, so it's just the question of finding a restaurant now that serves the food that I'm looking for. And also, this time of the year is a very tricky time for restaurants, especially, I imagine, in most parts of the country, because people are having Christmas dinners. But here where I am, or Christmas lunches, here where I am on the outskirts of Madrid, very, very difficult to get into a restaurant currently. So I'm going to have to think outside the box to get some meals this week and next, I think. Janet coming in from Oxford. The winds have been scary. Time to say goodbye. I hope you don't mean you're saying goodbye, Stuart. Not yet, Janet. Not saying goodbye yet, but maybe time for Mr. Mazon in Valencia to say goodbye. That's the idea. Maybe time for him to say goodbye. Brad's in the chat as well. I don't think I've seen the first one, if this is the second comment that Brad's left. As usual, cooking dinner, fruits, del mar spaghetti. That is mussels, squid, langoustines, creamy stock made from prawns heads. Very cheap quality meal, but it sounds tasty, Brad, I will say. Amanda's in the chat too, coming in from the UK. Storms have abated a bit there. Good to see. Brad saying it's 18 degrees in Malaga. Forecast the cooler but sunny days ahead. Yes, I imagine we're going to get some cooler days here in Spain for at least up until the run up to Christmas, I should say. At least that's what the forecast is saying, so we'll see. But the weather where Brad is down there in Malaga, a world away from where I am here in Madrid. It's always amazing when you drive down to a place like Malaga from Madrid in the winter months. The difference in temperature, amazing. High Flyer John, working today. The Panto season, pantomime I imagine that is, Panto season. We'll catch up later. Have a great week. Thanks, John. Thanks for that. Sharon coming in from Mallorca. Thanks, Sharon, for tuning in. Marcia coming in from, not sure where, but good to see you up, Marcia, saying g'day there. Barbara, the author of the photo that we have behind us, coming in from the Playa Flamenca. Windy, cooler day today. Temperatures of just 17. Very, very mild temperatures for that part of the world, considering it's normally around 23, 24. Erica also coming in from a windy and overcast Terrassa, 12 degrees there, having some albarino as going to have some homemade empanada. Best wishes for next week. Thanks for that. Marianne coming in from San Diego, USA, 10:30 a.m. Wishing all the good weather and good health. Thanks, Marianne. Harry, the person who just bought me a coffee, coming in from Edinburgh. Thanks, Harry, for that. Lorcan from Ireland, having a lazy day today. Thanks, Lorcan. Well, lazy Sunday, of course. Antonio saying good evening to everyone. Good evening back to you there, Antonio. Miriam coming in from the Playa Flamenca. Another person from the Playa Flamenca. Popular spot. Yusuf saying it's unbelievable that government officials like Mazon can't be easily fired. Have we gone back to the Middle Ages with immune lords and dukes? Good Lord. Well, unless they step down, Yusuf, they have to wait until the next elections, I suppose, where people can either decide to vote for them or not. And when it comes to somebody, putting their hand up and saying, look, I got that one wrong, maybe it's time for somebody to step in and do and try and do a better job. Doesn't happen very often. Does not happen. And, of course, the Partido Popular, which is the government in Valencia, are under serious pressure from the opposition at the moment, who were in power up until 2023 there. So it's always been a strong Partido Popular area, but of course the corruption that dogged the Valencian community for many, many years. There was corruption case after corruption case after corruption case down there, and of course the PP took a step back, but they came back in 2023, and now this. so yeah. Martin coming in. Espero todo bien. Estamos en Zakopane. We don't know where that is. Sounds interesting. Ahora mismo las montañas de Tatra. Thanks, Martin, for that. Practicing his Spanish, of course, is Martin. Tio Al coming in from El Puerto de Santa Maria. Beautiful, what did I say, beautiful? City's full of tourists. Just difficult to get a table in most of the restaurants. Lots of Christmas activities. That's the problem that I have here too, Al. Very, very difficult to get a table in a restaurant because they're all booked out with these Christmas lunches and people out and about. Barry, Spain, pay not a penny to the USA. Tell them all to leave the country ASAP. There we go. Robert saying here, like 34, first in a long time. I found you live. The last time Spain took an anti-military stance, I think they had bombs on the metro. Not sure what that's related to, but thanks for that. Raymond, love the pros and cons for 2025. Lots of comments about Spanish taxes. Are they really that bad? Well, I don't know. I've been paying taxes here for a long time. Of course, income tax is what I pay, and housing tax as well. What else? VAT. I think when people come from outside of Spain to live here with a lot of money, they might be slapped by the tax man. Possibly there are cheaper places to go, of course. If you don't want to pay taxes, you can head to some of those Caribbean countries. But here in Spain, maybe even compared to Portugal, maybe you're paying less taxes as well. But it hasn't stopped people from coming here in the past. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. El Davido. Good evening, all. Keep those meal videos going. They're excellent. Thanks, Dave, for that. Let's have a look. Derek coming in from a chilly, windy Mallorca. Good to see you, Derek. Sarah coming in from Las Vegas. What else we got here? Spain will be on the right side of history here, hopefully, referring to those boats that are being refused entry here. Good morning, Portugal show. Hey, where are you off to, Stu? Nowhere. I'm not off to anywhere. It's Mr. Mazon is what I was referring to there. Not anybody else. Myself, Carl, not me. Ed coming in from windy Suffolk. Storm Dara working its way across the UK. It might be a different storm then. I don't know. Antonio saying the ones who are protesting against tourism are the same ones that claim Catalonia's independence. Airheads, I was tired of listening to them. Right now, I prefer not to listen. It's better for my mental health. Thanks, Antonio, for that. Yeah, probably similar characteristics there. Probably. What else? Welsh saying here that my father had to work in London to bring back money to our family in South Wales 40 years ago. It's not new. No, it is not new, but I think people have a different mentality as far as families and having kids go today than they had 40 years ago. Or at least I believe that to be the case. I could be wrong. The Jazz Shed coming in here. Good evening to everyone from a miserable, if I can get that word out, miserable Bury St Edmunds. It's nice to catch up on the live ones. We love the food vlogs. Looking forward to some wine reviews in the future. All the best, the Jazz Shed. Thank you very much for that. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look here. Good evening, Stu from a windy Netherlands. Kima, good to see you, Kima. Yusuf saying here that offal meats are also pretty good, but whenever I suggest them to my friends visiting, they recoil in horror. Yeah, a lot of people only prefer the prime cuts nowadays rather than offal and other parts of the animal, of course. Roland coming in from Minneapolis. Johnny saying hello. Hike Ranger here. Finish up 6 week holiday here in Tenerife. It's been fantastic, but now ready to go home. Thanks for that hike. I would have thought that pigs' ears are rubbery and chewy, hence why dogs love them. Thanks for that different gear. I imagine that is the case. I remember buying dog's ears in the past for my pooches. Of course, quite different to the ones that they serve in restaurants, of course. Let's have a look. Ed questioning the figures. Is that tourism value figure correct? If there are 100,000 people every year, 200 billion, I think, was the figure. 200 billion was the figure I think quoted the other day. I've got no idea, but I suppose some people spend more. So averages out to around 2,000. I mean, how much money does somebody spend on a holiday when you pay for a hotel, when you pay for your food, all of those things? I've got no idea. But I imagine that some people pay more, some people pay less. Nothing wrong with larger families. I remember a friend criticising me for having 4 children. We didn't have the things many consider necessary, i.e. holidays, a car, TV. We managed. We were happy. Thanks, Janet, for that. Yeah, obviously, I grew up in a family with 3 kids. In my father's family, there was 6. But, of course, that's all gone out with this world that we live in nowadays. And to have 1 child can be expensive, even without going on holidays and all of these things that we mentioned there. But having 4, I think that's too much for a lot of people now, or too many children for too much for a lot of people to live with. Having 4 kids nowadays, not easy economically. What else? Let's have a look here. Kathy's saying, my mum always cooked trotters and tails in the UK, so we ate everything but the oink. Absolutely. Let's have a look here, if I can get some more here quickly before I finish. Joaquin saying, once I told you that you speak good Spanish. That's right, you pronounce vowels perfectly. We have just 5 vowels with one song every one. That's why you speak proper Spanish. Thanks, Joaquin. Yeah, Spanish language, as far as the vowels is concerned, it does make it quite easily the phonetic aspect of the language as well. But of course, in English we have 5 vowels, but 13 vowel sounds, I think, probably. So that's what complicates things with the English pronunciation. Karen just spent 1 month in Seville studying flamenco, back home in the US, and already missing the dance community and the food. We'll be back. There we go. Carlos coming in from Santo Domingo de la Calzada, 0 degrees there. Flutter Girl coming in from Toronto, where I imagine it's cold. Settled in Spain, hi from a chilly inland Almeria up in the mountains. Got the log burner going. Hope all is well there. Settle in Spain. Alejandro, un saludo, amigo. Un saludo para ti también, Alejandro. Espero que todo esté bien hoy. What else we got going on here? Something there in a language that I can't understand, so I won't highlight that one there. Can Mia join me in the next pig review? She's a star. I'll just ask her there. No, she's having a sleep, so I don't want to wake her up, but I'm sure she would be thrilled to bits to be able to enjoy a pig's ear. In fact, I brought some home from the restaurant, and wow, was she happy. Gigi in the chat, coming in from a warm December day there, Arizona, 29 degrees Celsius in Gigi's part of Arizona. And Brad's going to try pig's lungs. They're for sale in most butchers here. Well, there we go. Brad, good luck with that. Hope all goes well and you enjoy it. I'm sure that there would be a way to cook them so that they do come out a treat. But I haven't seen them in restaurants, I'm going to be honest. Now I'm going to wrap the live stream up. I'll be back again on Tuesday with another one, I think. Yeah, nothing happening this week. Tuesday, another live stream. More regular content coming out this week. Stay tuned for that. Going to try and put some stuff together, so stay tuned. It's been a pleasure as always. Hasta luego, hasta entonces. Adios, and bye-bye.